Hi everyone, I hope you're okay. I hope you're all doing well. I'm using a 20 by 20 inch canvas, deep edge canvas. I'm going to use a black base. I've got 2 embroidery hoops, plus I've got the colours of the rainbow. So I've got my red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and I'm adding some gold. So I'm going to put the base colour down. I'm going to use 2 embroidery hoops to create something really special. So let's see what we can create. My base colour is Lamp Black by Amsterdam. So I'm just going to smooth out that paint across my canvas. I'm just tilting the volume of the paint from side to side, and then I'll use a palette knife to spread all that paint out into one complete and consistent coverage. I'm just tidying up my sides, and then I'm going to get my embroidery hoops and I'm going to centre those in the canvas. As always, I've just mixed up my paints, so I'm just using the torch now to pop those air bubbles before I continue with the process. Okay, so I've got 2 different size embroidery hoops, and the centerpiece of this is going to include a gold ring. So I'm eyeballing it and I need to move it just slightly, but I'm putting these 2 pieces directly in the center, and then I'm going to layer the gold within that section that you can see just there, the smaller outer circle. So I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to do anything with the middle circle, with the one that you can see directly in the middle. But just here, what I wanted to do is add some gold all the way around that ring. And I'm going to gently swipe it and kind of see what kind of effect that leaves me. But the question is, do I do something in the middle? So stick with me. Let's see how this process goes. I can't wait for you to see the colours that are swiped all the way around the edges. But first of all, let's concentrate on this gold section. I'm swiping with toilet paper. I'm just using a very small width paper to swipe the gold around that hoop. So remember, when you're swiping, and for me, I use toilet paper, I literally allow that paper to touch the paint. It rests on the surface of that paint. I don't press down too hard, and I allow that paint and that paper to connect, and it just glides as I move the paper. It's really important that you just don't press too hard. It's all about allowing that paper to rest on the surface of the paint, allowing the paint and the paper to connect before you drag that paper and allow it to glide. So I've just added a little bit more gold, and as you can see, I'm starting now with the colours. And I'm going to go in order of the rainbow. So I've started with my red, I'm going to end with my violet, and then right at the end of this circle, between the violet and the red, I'm going to combine all the colours. So let's see how this works out. But first of all, I'm just going to take one colour at a time, one by one, and layer this around the outer circle. So the details of the paint, the brands, and the consistency and ratios that I use are all listed in the description box. In the description box, I always list the colours that I'm using, the technique that I'm tackling, the the size of the canvas that I'm using, and other information like the blow dryer that I always use for my Dutch pours and blowouts. And it also lists information about the online course that I've proudly written and produced and launched last year. It's about mindfulness, it's about mental well-being, and it's about injecting art and creativity into mindfulness and well-being practices. It's not all about fluid art. There's a number of exercises that are guided and non-guided. So if you really want some more information, check out that detail below. I'll also tag a link in the description box too. So if you're interested, check it out for some more information, or if you've got any questions, do not hesitate to get in touch with me and ask those questions. I'd be really pleased to answer them for you. So let's continue with the process. We're shortly going to swipe. And remember, I always swipe with toilet paper. I use a certain width first of all, and then I reduce the width to create that depth. But first of all, let's look at these colours. Okay, so we're coming up to swipe time. So I'm using the toilet paper. I'm resting the toilet paper on top of the paint and allowing the paper and the paint to connect. And once it's connected, I literally drag the paper in one direction. I don't apply any pressure, I just drag, but I allow it to glide over the surface of the base colour. So remember, place the paper on top of the paint, allow the paint and the paper to connect, and then drag. Allow it to glide. Just take your time with this. So for the purposes of this video, I have sped up this part of the process where I'm swiping all the colours around the circle. But I'd really encourage you just to take this time. There's no need to rush. Allow yourself to be in the moment of the here and now and really enjoy the creation that you're creating. Because yeah, it's great if you create something and you're really pleased with the end result, but don't be in a rush to get to that end result. Just enjoy the process that you're in and enjoy the moment where you're creating and experimenting and probably creating something and learning lessons along the way. So that's my top advice. I always live by that advice of just be in the moment and enjoy the creation that you're doing. So I'm going to take the paper and I'm swiping one colour at a time, and you can see that I'm just swiping in one direction. And then I will reduce the width of that paper to create some depth to this piece. So I'll leave you now with me swiping, and then I'll come back shortly. Okay, so I've done the first swipes. That's like my foundation. And then I reduce the size of the toilet paper. And I'm just going to go round each colour and swipe again. And by reducing the width of that toilet paper and swiping, we'll create different size lines and swipes across this piece. And that will in turn create a depth to the piece that you see. So I'm just going to go round that circle now with each colour one by one. And my question is, should I leave the middle blank? So let's see what this looks like in the final version. And then what I'd really like is for you to give me some advice. Should I leave the middle blank, or should I do something within that middle section? Maybe a mandala, maybe some balloon dips. So have a think about it and let me know what you think. Let me finish up with this process. I'll show you a close-up of the wet version and the dry version, just so you can see this piece. And then I will either varnish it or embellish it. So when you're removing your hoops, just be careful because the paint will have connected with the embroidery hoop. So when you lift them up, just do it really slowly to allow that connection between the paint and the hoop to disconnect before you remove it from your piece. Otherwise, you'll splash paint everywhere and probably ruin some of your design. I really love how bright and colourful and vibrant that piece is. And I think by adding the golden hoop in the middle against the contrast of the black background allows those colours to really pop. So let's take you in now for a close-up version. This is obviously still wet. I'm going to allow it to dry and then I'll show you how it's dried. Okay, so here's the dry version. And guys, I absolutely love it as it is. But maybe it is missing something from the middle. I'd really love to know what you think. Shall I add something to that middle section? Or shall I just leave it as it is? And then what I'll do is I will varnish it with a gloss varnish. I always use a spray varnish by Winsor & Newton for my pieces. I want to say a big thank you to everyone for being here today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all of your support. I really hope you've enjoyed watching me create this piece. And if you create something similar, I would love to see it. So tag me in your posts or send me an email of the pictures that you create. Again, thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a great week. Stay safe. Be good. Be kind to yourself, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.